Okay, so I just got home from watching Spider-Man Far From Home last night. I've slept on it, and today I'm going to give you my thoughts on the film. So this video is going to be in a ranty format and is going to contain spoilers. So if you do not want to hear spoilers, you've got about 5 seconds to stop the video. Okay. Right, so I love this film. I genuinely think this is possibly one of my top 5 films in the MCU. We've probably got Endgame, Infinity War, Thor Ragnarok, and then Spider-Man Far From Home has got to be up there amongst that top 5. Just the characters, the plot, the way that the special effects were done, I just absolutely love it. Spider-Man, once again, Tom Holland in this role is just perfect. By far my favourite iteration of Spider-Man, including Tobey Maguire. It's not necessarily the best Spider-Man film. I think Spider-Man 2 is probably still the best Spider-Man film, but Spider-Man Far From Home is probably the second. It deals so well with his chasing of MJ, his friendship with Ned, the want for a vacation, and Nick Fury's inability to keep his nose out of it. I loved the introduction of Quentin Beck. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal was great in the role. Mysterio as a character, I mean, it's brilliant. The costume is great, the special effects are great, the story behind it is great. I'm running out of adjectives to use to describe it, but the backstory that they gave him was believable at first. I mean, I have an understanding of the Mysterio character from the animated TV series, and I think it's a PlayStation 2 Spider-Man 2 game where Mysterio turns up. So I knew that he was going to turn out to be a villain. I mean, I would have been extremely surprised if he didn't turn out to be a villain. But I was right, he did turn out to be a villain. I think most people knew it was going to happen. From what I've seen on the character, the sequence midway through the film where Peter meets Nick Fury and they're in Germany, and it turns out that they're actually it's not Nick Fury at all, it's just Quentin playing Spider-Man, and then eventually sort of that sequence ends with him getting hit by the train. That whole sequence in terms of the visuals was just incredible, and it's exactly what I expected to see from a Mysterio in an MCU film. It gave inklings, little aspects of it made me think of Doctor Strange, which that is effectively what Mysterio tries to pretend to be, pretends to be magic when in actual fact it's all just tech and illusions. And I thought they did a really good job at tying it back into the BARF projection system that Tony Stark had used in Civil War to reasonable effect in terms of building his guilt and his missing his parents, and foreshadowed that in Civil War. But in this film, it's a nice tie-in. The idea of the villains being Tony Stark's sort of enemies in the end, where Peter is almost the exact contrast of that, being his protege. I think that's a great contrast to have there, because it shows, in retrospect, looking at Tony Stark's life, the good side and the bad side, and how he treated some people and how he treated others, based on favoritism, basically. Some of the chemistry in this film between the actors, Tom and Zendaya playing Peter and MJ respectively, is really good. I can see them as a couple. Peter and Ned together, great chemistry again. Peter and Nick Fury, great chemistry again. Peter and Quentin, even though it turns out that it's a lie, they seem to have a good relationship, and that just goes to show how good Quentin is at manipulating people. All the actors just have to be given props for that. Really, it's one of the better aspects of the film. The special effects, especially with those elementals, are really good. That end battle in London is incredible. Really just incredible. There was a couple of things that disappoint me about the film. I was kind of disappointed to find out that the other Earth wasn't actually a real thing. I thought that would be a very good way for them to be able to introduce some of their new acquisitions from the Fox merger, i.e. the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. They could introduce them if they had set the seeds for other Earths. They could have then had some sort of big event that caused the connection of two of these Earths, or the crossing over of some characters to Earth 616, as it was stated in the film. But they decided to go against that, and that was just another lie from Quentin, and I can accept that. But I thought that would be a good time to set up the seeds of other Earths, and if it had been true, it would have been good. It would have been expanding to the universe and probably overall a good thing. I was also disappointed a couple of times where I thought that Mysterio had been defeated. For example, when you're led to believe that Nick Fury shot him in the back just before the train happens, but then very quickly you find out that that's not true. The twist at the end with Nick Fury being a Skrull confuses me. I'm not sure how that ties in. It'll be interesting to see where it goes, but it seems like we're going to be having a break from MCU films now. So that's just going to end up sitting there. It's confusing. I don't see how it ties into a Spider-Man film, but, you know, if it turns out to be a good idea in the end, I can accept it. It's just at the moment it's a bit confusing. The new suits are great. I absolutely love the stealth suit. I think it looks really, really different, and it really suits the vibe they were trying to go with the stealth, trying to avoid his identity being found out. And then in London, him just accepting that is Spider-Man, wearing the red and black suit of his own design, I thought was really good. It shows that Peter can think for himself in terms of creating the suits, because so far the only suit that he's made is the hoodie one, which it's not particularly high tech. It doesn't really show off how smart Peter is, but the fact that he's then gone through all of the information that was held by Edith on Spider-Man and used it to create a new suit of his own, effectively of his own design, I think that's good. I mean, that's part of Peter. He creates his web shooters, he creates his own suit. It makes sense for him having done that in this film, I think. I thought the end credit scene with MJ flying through New York, holding on, and then the reveal that J. Jonah Jameson exists, and is once again played by J.K. Simmons. I love that casting. I thought that was a very good, fun scene, and the twist that Quentin has now used some recordings to make out that Spider-Man's a bad guy, and then also tell everyone that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, is interesting. It's a very interesting twist going forward, and I cannot wait to see the next entry into the MCU for Spider-Man on his own. Where the villains are going to come from, you never know. I feel like they might go back and try and do a Sinister Six because they've already introduced the Scorpion. I feel like that was slightly foreshadowed in the first one. You've got Dr. Octopus, you've got Green Goblin. All of these guys can be introduced. They're all important villains for Spider-Man, so I'm interested to see where they go from here with that information in hand. So yeah, overall this is one of my favourite MCU films. I feel it's a very good sequel to Homecoming. and a sequel to the events of Infinity War and Endgame for Peter and all the other characters that are involved there. I'm looking forward to see what they do going forward, but I want to know what you guys think. So if you can comment below, let me know what you guys think of Far From Home. If you've seen it and you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, explain why. Tell me if you don't think that Quentin was a very good villain, let me know. Explain why. It could be that you changed my mind. I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone else thinks about it. It's been getting pretty good reviews so far, but a lot of the public will still need to see it before we get a real idea of how well it's accepted. But yeah, if you like this video, give me a like. If you want to subscribe, I'm going to have more videos going forward. I'm going to have a retrospective series of all the films in the MCU so far, leading up to and including Endgame, and then it's going to be these 10-minute videos going forward for each of the films after Endgame. They will start showing up around August, and they're going to be a slightly longer format with no video. So I also want to do these style of videos for any Star Wars and DC related films that come out in the future as well. So if you like those, subscribe and you'll see them pop up in your notifications. Hit that bell if you want to get notifications to your phone or through email. Honest man, I can't talk. This is absolutely murder. I can't actually get a sentence out of my mouth without flapping it and